We got an update on Domantas Sabonis' hamstring injury, and while I wouldn't necessarily classify it as bad news, I think there's a little bit more to it than what the report suggests. Plus, Sam Amick of The Athletic shared some information on Doug Christie's head coach contract, and it has me a little bit nervous. I'll explain why right here on Locked On Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all offseason and soon to be all regular season long. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm a Sacramento sports anchor and reporter for ABC 10 News. Last night in the Sacramento Kings lost to the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 3 of the preseason, Domantas Sabonis exited the third quarter in what was called a left hamstring injury. We were not given any kind of updates on the severity of the injury. Nobody really knew anything after the game itself. And while the Sacramento Kings have not put out anything specific about the injury, any kind of official update from the organization, Chris Haynes reported, and I was able to later confirm for ABC 10, that Domantas Sabonis sustained a mild hamstring strain, and he will miss the preseason finale tomorrow, Friday night, in Los Angeles against the Lakers. However, we are told that Domas will still travel with the team to LA. So this is certainly not an end of the world type scenario by any means. It's a whole heck of a lot better news than what we got with Keegan Murray and his thumb injury that required surgery and will keep him out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. But Brendan Nunez pointed something out on social media. Brendan Nunez from Sacktown Sports 1140 and the Kings Pulse podcast pointed out that Steph Curry had a grade 1 hamstring strain that caused him to miss the last 4 postseason games for the Golden State Warriors this past season. And I'll even take it a step further. Tyrese Halliburton missed 10 games with a hamstring strain in January of 2024. He, that year, re-aggravated that hamstring in the playoffs and also missed the final 2 NBA playoff games for the Indiana Pacers that year. So, what does that tell you? Now, take everything that I'm about to say with speculation or as speculation, and understand that, of course, I am not by any means a doctor. I'm just looking at this injury. I am aware of the significance of hamstring injuries in the NBA, and even those that seem mild or minor can turn into worse things. That's why teams take them so seriously. Based off of that knowledge, and based off of these 2 examples that I just gave you, and there are many more, but the Steph Curry and Tyrese Halliburton examples, I don't know if we should expect Domantas Sabonis to be good to go and to play in next Wednesday's season opener against the Suns in Phoenix. Now, the Kings, again, have not announced anything, and maybe they're waiting for more details to see how he feels on Friday or Saturday before they make any sort of announcement about Wednesday's game. And we also know Domantas Sabonis has a tremendous reputation throughout his time in the league, but especially his time in Sacramento, of recovering quickly from injuries or fighting his way back quickly from injuries and playing through pain, playing through being banged up. Now, hamstring injuries can turn to a whole heck of a lot more, and leg injuries are especially worrisome for centers, for big men. So I'm hoping that the Kings won't rush Domantas Sabonis back. In fact, I feel very, very confident that the Kings won't rush Domantas Sabonis back. I'm more concerned about Sabonis rushing himself back, urging or insisting that I don't care, I'm fine, I'm good enough to play. It's the season opener. I got to play. My team misses me, needs me. We're already down Keegan Murray. Like, I got to play. I got to play. I got to play. That, to me, is who I believe Domantas Sabonis is. And while I don't know how much the Kings training staff would get in the way of Domantas Sabonis to prevent him from doing that and being that way, at the very, very beginning of the season is as good a time as any to err on the side of caution. Now, let's say that Domantas Sabonis does miss the first couple of games of the season. They're two very winnable games. They're even more winnable, of course, if Sabonis plays. They open up against the Phoenix Suns, like I mentioned, and the Suns are a team that is weak at the center position, right? They're not known for that center position, so that's an area that I would say Domantas Sabonis would exploit if he were playing. But if he's not playing, it's not like that position in particular is going to punish you because Domantas Sabonis isn't on the floor. But the next game, the Friday night home opener against the Utah Jazz, the Jazz, while not being a very good basketball team, I expect the Jazz to be one of the worst, if not the worst team in the NBA this year. The Utah Jazz have Yusuf Nurkic and Walker Kessler on their roster, two established big men in the NBA. And if Domantas Sabonis does not play, that puts a tremendous amount of responsibility on the shoulders of Drew Eubanks right out of the gate. I imagine he would be the one to start. I don't see any reason to start anybody else. Maxime Reynaud is simply not ready to start Game 1 and Game 2 of the regular season. But Maxime Reynaud would probably get some run in those first couple of games off the bench with Sabonis being out. So, again, more just speculation on my part. I'm just saying, based off of history, based off of what we know about hamstring injuries and what other players have dealt with in far more meaningful games, playoff games, compared to the first game or two of the season. Hamstring injuries are no joke, and there's a good chance, I think Kings fans should at least mentally prepare yourselves for Sabonis not being good to go in those first couple of games. And hopefully we're all surprised with great news that he's good to go and everybody's happy and he gets healthy and gets right and everything like that. But what we don't want to do is for Domantas Sabonis to fight his way back quickly and hurt himself even more. Sam Amick of The Athletic released an article about the Russell Westbrook signing with some details about how the Russell Westbrook signing came to be. And there is an excerpt from this article that caught a lot of people's attention, and it has to do with Doug Christie's contract. I want to read it for you. Several key members of Sacramento's core do have something to prove. Christie, for example, is in his first full season as a head coach after taking over for the fired Mike Brown last season, and has every intention of showing his full potential to the Kings and the industry at large. Per league sources, the deal he signed in the offseason includes 2 guaranteed seasons and a team option for the third. He'll earn approximately $2 million annually in the first 2 seasons, with a significant uptick in salary for the third season should the option be picked up. As first world problems go, that's the kind of contract that offers plenty of motivation to earn the next one. So why does this catch my attention? Matt, why does this bother you in any sort of way? Well, first and foremost, only $2 million a year for a head coach in the NBA. $2 million is a lot of money to you and I. For a head coach in the NBA, that's nothing. I don't have this in front of me, but if Doug Christie isn't the lowest paid head coach in the NBA, I'll be shocked. Now, many of you might be going, yeah, Matt, he's a first-time NBA head coach. He's unproven. This is a prove-it contract. You're right. This is an opportunity contract, more or less of a, like, we're paying you as a guy that we know will be successful and be around here long term. And that is why I'm nervous. Because the third year of that contract, the team option third year, is significantly more than those first 2 years, meaning these 2 years are a trial period for Doug Christie. Under normal circumstances, I would say, okay, I guess that's reasonable. It makes sense. You have to earn your way. But the 2-year timeline is sure interesting, isn't it? Because what happens 2 years from now, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are off the books. So what this says to me, whether I'm reading too far into it or not, what this says to me is that Doug Christie is tied with those two contracts. And over the next 2 years, whether the team is successful or not, he has to, while they are still here, establish the culture as best as he possibly can and earn that third year. And many of us are looking at this roster and looking at it from the perspective of the Kings need to just make it through the next 2 years before they can make real progress once both of those players come off the books and the Kings have more cap space to move in a different direction to bring in more players that fit the vision. I'll say this. I know Doug Christie and Scott Perry are aligned in their vision. I believe that wholeheartedly. I know they're trying to build and establish a culture here in Sacramento. It's a lot more difficult to establish any sort of culture when you're firing head coaches every 2 or 3 years. Everybody, and I mean everybody in their right mind, should be rooting for that third-year option to be picked up and then there to be a contract extension for Doug Christie and for Scott Perry after that. We need consistency in this organization. We need both these guys to be here for a decade or more. That means things are going right. If Scott Perry is hiring a new head coach at any point over the next handful of years, something went really, really wrong again. And I would argue that would be, not even an argument. I know for a fact that would be way, way worse for this organization than Doug Christie sticking around and you building any sort of consistency. I really, really hope Scott Perry is not hiring a new head coach in a couple years because Doug used these 2 years, didn't go as planned, and they move on. And they find a new guy with this new vision and this new group, minus DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, and the Chicago Kings or Sacramento Bulls era comes to an end and Doug Christie ends with it. I really hope that's not the case. This episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting, but getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Maybe your silverware needs a refresh, or the guest room could use all new bedding. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready, from Christmas trees and wreaths to bedding, cookware, and outdoor inflatables. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize your home for the holidays with a huge selection for every style and budget. And with free and easy delivery, even the big stuff, you can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. The delivery is fast and free. I can't tell you enough about it, right? Whether you're getting these small items that you would expect to be easy to ship to you, or you're getting a large piece of furniture, maybe a new table or something for one of those big holiday meals or something for the kitchen, right? They will send it all to you fast and bring it to you without any of the hassle. And instead of stressing about getting your house ready for the holidays, you can actually enjoy the holidays with friends and family and show off your house. Get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. So the Sacramento Kings made both the Russell Westbrook and Keegan Murray signings official today. Of course, both of them were officially announced with a press release, and both those press releases included quotes from Sacramento Kings general manager Scott Perry. And I wanted to read to you these quotes, especially the Russell Westbrook one. This is from Scott Perry when talking about Russ. Russell embodies the identity we are striving for in Sacramento. His resume speaks for itself, and I'm excited to work with someone who is so accomplished, is fully committed to competing and winning. We expect him to strengthen our point guard position and provide leadership both on and off the court. Now, in one of the 2 podcasts I recorded yesterday, the one before last night's game, I broke down the primary reason why Russell Westbrook was here. And I share with you, it's probably not one you're going to want to hear, or one that's going to make you overly excited, because it has less to do with Russell Westbrook, the basketball player on the floor, and more to do with Russell Westbrook, the personality, the leader, and the example. And Scott Perry's statement is perfectly aligned with everything I told you about why Russ is here. Again, let me read pieces of this for you. Russ embodies the identity we are striving for in Sacramento. I'm excited to work with someone so accomplished who is fully committed to competing and winning. We expect him to strengthen our point guard position and provide leadership both on and off the court. Scott Perry is not making anything surprising or mysterious here. He's telling you why Russell Westbrook is here. Russell Westbrook is here to help with that backup point guard position that the Kings have no depth at. And Russell Westbrook is here because of how he plays and how he can help influence and impact and establish the new identity that the Sacramento Kings want to play with. It's exactly what I told you yesterday. It's exactly the reason why Russ has been on the radar of the Sacramento Kings from the beginning. Basketball-wise, there always will be concerns, and there definitely are concerns. And I'm not necessarily here to tell you you're wrong for feeling like the Kings shouldn't be bringing Russell Westbrook in, although I know a lot of you who are saying that are still going to go out and get a Russell Westbrook jersey and put it in your closet next to your Vince Carter and Rajon Rondo jerseys just because they're cool to have. Like, it's crazy that Russell Westbrook is a Sacramento King. That alone is just wild to experience. But I understand if you're not excited about older, end of his career Russell Westbrook on this Kings team, and if you're questioning whether the move is a good move or not. I will say it's a 1-year deal for $0.8 million. Who cares? It's a super low-risk move for the Sacramento Kings. It's not costing them anything longevity-wise. And I think you're trying too hard in saying, well, Russell Westbrook being here means he's going to take playing time away from the young guys. You'd rather Devin Carter play than Russell Westbrook? Would you? And as much as I would love to see Nick Clifford get a boatload of minutes, Russell Westbrook is not going to be taking significant minutes away from Nick. We already know Nick is part of this rotation. So I'm not concerned with Russ being here being a problem for all the younger players. We got to stop doing this when arguing against some of the older guys that that are here that we might not necessarily like DeMar DeRozan, for example. DeMar DeRozan is taking opportunity and shots away from Keegan Murray. We talked about that, heard that all of last year. It's just an excuse, and it's a reason to hate on a guy that you don't really need to hate on. Again, you don't have to like it. I'm not telling you have to like it. But I'm telling you exactly why he's here. So it should not be a question. It should not be a mystery. You don't have to like it, but you know exactly why Russell Westbrook is here now. Then there was the statement that Scott Perry put out on Keegan Murray. He said, quote, Keegan is one of the most versatile players in the league. He's shown that he can defend multiple positions and efficiently shoot the ball from the perimeter. Keegan is also a young man of high character who reflects the vision we are shaping in Sacramento. This one, I guess, a little less polarizing. Just kind of saying the same things that we've said about Keegan and heard about Keegan his entire career. We know what he provides on the defensive end. His three-point shot needs to improve from the perimeter, but yes, he is capable of knocking down threes at a high clip. The Kings just need to get him back to that some way, somehow. But there is the mention there at the end, Keegan fits the vision. Well, I'm glad he fits the vision because you need defense, Keegan provides it. And you also need youth on this team. Like, I know Nick Clifford, we're hoping that Nick Clifford is something good. He's 24 years old, so it's not like he's a 20-year-old kid. Devin Carter, also an older, young player, but Devin Carter already seems to be more on the outs than he is on the ins here in Sacramento. The Kings don't have a young player of the future to be excited about. Keegan Murray is the closest thing to that. So again, I'm very glad the Kings were able to get this deal done, even if you feel like they overpaid a little bit for Keegan. I guess I kind of feel you on that. I understand if you feel that way, but the deal's done. It's not a distraction. Keegan Murray being a Sacramento King long-term is a good thing. And worst case scenario, or best case scenario, depending upon how you feel about Keegan, his $28 million deal is something that you can move to bring in a pretty significant player if you need to down the line. This is a 5-year contract extension. And by the end of that contract, it's going to be very valuable in Sacramento, and it's going to be very valuable around the league. So I'm not worried about that at all. Like I said at the top of the show, today's episode of Locked On Kings is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's it, just $5, and you'll get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right, pick a bet. Find the easiest bet you can find. Put $5 on it. That's it. Just $5. And if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets, and now you can really start to play and make some money on FanDuel. And there's so many fun ways to play on FanDuel, whether you like parlays, where you're looking to pair 2, 3, 4, 5 bets together to get some crazy payday. You like to live on the edge. Or if you like player props, if you're very into specific players and think you know how they're going to fare specifically against the team that they're against or in that particular game, you can do that. You can even follow live betting lines while you are watching whatever game you are watching. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Last thing I want to share with you, just in case you didn't know how successful the NBA as a league is right now. We already know the ridiculous amount of money that the league brought in from the new TV deals that kick in this year. And I'm already very excited. I'm very happy to hear the NBA on NBC Round Rock B-Ball theme. It's just makes me happy. Can't wait to hear that before a Kings game or two. I don't remember how many games they have on NBC, but it'll be fun to hear regardless. In addition to the crazy TV money, and of course the stupid contracts that players are making now because of that TV money, Sportico released the valuations of every single NBA franchise, essentially how much they're valued at, how much they're worth. According to Sportico, the Sacramento Kings are the 15th most valuable franchise in the NBA. Smack dab in the middle. They're the 15th most valuable franchise. They are valued at $5 billion. Now, that is a 22% increase from last year. Although, weirdly enough, even though they had a 22% increase from last year and are worth $5 billion, they actually dropped a spot from the 14th most valuable franchise to the 15th most valuable franchise. They were passed up by the Hawks by a few $1 million. It's very close, but the Hawks technically are a more valuable franchise according to Sportico than the Kings are. Now here's the kicker. Vivek Ranadive bought the Sacramento Kings for $534 million. That means purchasing the organization, purchasing the franchise at $534 million, and it being valued now at $5 billion, that is an 836% increase. That's crazy, isn't it? Man, Vivek, good for you, my friend. Good for you and good for all your minority owners, too. Y'all have made a great investment and built that new Golden One Center, and even if the team's still only been relevant and good for 1 year that you've had them, you've managed to increase the value of your organization, and the NBA has really managed to increase the value of your organization by over 800%. That's wild. That is wild. You want to lend me $1 million or $2 million there, Vivek? You can spare it. Believe it or not, I'm not on Vivek's payroll, for those of you out there on Kings Reddit who believe I am for some reason. You want to know who the top 3 most valuable franchises are? Number 3, the New York Knicks, valued at $9.8 billion. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. I thought for sure they'd be number 1, valued at $10 billion. And finally, the most valuable franchise in the NBA, according to Sportico, is the Golden State Warriors in their shiny new Chase Center, valued at $11.3 billion. $5. So Vivek Ranadive's buddy Joe Lacob and all his Bay Area, Silicon Valley guys are doing just fine. Doing just fine. California state tax or no, the billionaires are booming here in California, and the NBA is doing very, very well. All right, I want to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts on Domantas Sabonis' injury. Your thoughts on what I had to say about Doug Christie's contract. Does that set off any alarm bells for you? Or are you like, Matt, it's a prove-it deal. I'm totally okay with it. Let me know. At MattGeorgeSack on Twitter. Email me, mattgeorgesports@gmail.com. Leave your thoughts in the YouTube comment section down below. Appreciate your support as always. Can't wait to have you join me for the next episode of Locked On Kings. I will have a post-game pod after the Kings preseason finale, Kings versus Lakers. Reminder, though, Friday nights for ABC 10, I am covering Friday night football. So I will not have a podcast right after the game ends. I'll actually have to go back and watch the game later after it happens, so I won't be as locked in as I normally am when the game is actually going on. I'll have to go back and watch it, but at some point, maybe late in the night, you will get a Kings-Lakers post-game podcast. Hopefully the Kings can get us one freaking preseason win. Just one. Just one preseason win. Make us feel a little bit better going into the season. Although no Domantas Sabonis, no Keegan Murray, maybe Russell Westbrook plays. We haven't been given any update if he is or not, but he's officially signed with the team now. And as far as I know, he's joining the team in LA. So maybe Russ plays, maybe doesn't. We'll have to wait and find out. Appreciate your support. Can't wait to have you join me as always. Until next time, my name is Matt George. You have been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.